Hey everyone, I'm Nick and welcome to the channel. As you may already know, I like to rebuild cars on this channel, and a tool that's really useful to have when you're doing that, especially when you're buying cars with an unknown history, is a scan tool. Now today we're going to check out the UDIAG A500, which is a universal scan tool that'll work with pretty much any brand. So let's check it out. So it comes in a nice carrying case, very convenient. Well, let's see what's inside. We got the unit itself here. Nice rugged style, like good grips, kind of rubberized grips on the sides, and nice big buttons for navigation. A power port for the OBDII plug. This here is a 4.3-inch screen, which is also backlit, so very convenient. And let's see what else is included. We've got user manual in here, a little quick start guide. Oh, and right here is a micro SD card included. This one's 32 gigs. And we also get a USB to micro SD card adapter. Very convenient. And there's instructions in the manual on how to update this to have the latest software. Then the last thing in here is the plug. So this is what's going to connect the unit to your car. So this pops in right here. Plug that in. You can lock it in with these screws. And you don't need to worry about keeping this charged because it will be powered off the OBDII port. So you don't need to worry about batteries. This is ready to go as long as your car has a charged battery. And our cable here is nice and long. So you should be able to sit comfortably while you scan or stand outside your car while it's plugged in. So that is nice. That's everything that's included. So now let's go test it out in a couple of cars. This is the 2009 Range Rover Sport that I bought for $575 that I'm rebuilding right now. So you can check out those videos. So let's scan it and see if there's anything wrong with it. First thing we're gonna do is find the OBDII port, which is right here. Just plug in the A500 right there. You can see the length. Actually powered on right away. There's a little bit of reflection, but the screen's nice and bright. So with the length, you can actually stand right outside. We can also sit in the truck. I'll put the key in the ignition. Right here we have our main menu. We've got our different things, OBDII Scan, special functions for things like suspension systems, transmission, steering, and a lot more. Actually, let's start with setup. This should be the setup for the device. We got language, units, so we can put it in English or metric. So if you want to see things in Celsius and all that, you can switch to metric. Key test, shortcuts, LCD tests, and that's everything. Okay. Let's see the about. Yes, you get your serial number and password in here, which is nice. It's also included on a piece of paper in the box. But let's go to OBDII. Okay, so you see F3 is okay. You can look at the EC, read codes, stored codes, no codes, pending codes, no pending codes. We can look at some live data. Let's see what we've got here. Engine coolant temp, yep, see that, 64 degrees, which makes sense. It's about 67 degrees outside right now. Engine RPM 0, that makes sense. It's not running. Intake air temp 72, makes sense, a little hotter. So now our control module voltage went up because the alternator is running. And if we go back up, time since start, throttle position rises if I press the throttle. So these are F1, F2, F3. Let's check F2 for one graphic. And we have now a graph, a real-time graph of the throttle. See, when I pressed the throttle, it went up. Engine coolant temperature's gone up since we've been running. Engine RPMs displayed. Speed would show if we were driving. We got timing advance in real time. So lots of information. Let's see, in scan. Now we can go specifically to a brand. So we're gonna go to Europe here. We'll find our brand. We're going to Land Rover. Auto selection, that should work. Range Rover Sport. That's what's supported. Okay, that's a good selection. Let's hit OK. Now we should have more specifics. So we have L320 Range Rover Sport, that's right. Model year 09, that's right. 4.4 liter gas engine, that is right. So now we should have a more, let's see, well, we can run it, do auto scan. And now it's gonna actually check specific modules, because we saw in the just OBDII, it read basic codes, or it would have read basic codes if there were any. But now we can actually go through each individual module and see the status. So, front lighting control module, we used to have an issue with the active headlights, so we're actually going to find out what's going on. Some of it may be due to having a low battery in the past, so we'll see if it's that, and then we'll clear them. So it'll be interesting to see what may have been the issue. Now, since these vehicles tend to be very sensitive to low battery, they'll sometimes store a code, low voltage, or a low voltage will trigger some issues. So a lot of them should clear, but we'll be able to get an idea of whether or not there were issues besides that. That I expected. Parking sensors tend to go bad on these trucks, and I know it's not working right on this truck. Okay, we're scanned, so let's see in the lighting. Let's see what's going on there. Headlamps. Okay, let's see. Read codes. Intermittent right headlamp power module. Okay. Control module. And communication malfunction reflect actuator. This is probably a stored one from when it was unplugged. But we'll reset it. And we'll just erase them right now. No, let me turn the engine off. Ignition on. There we go. Yes. Clear done. Okay. Now if we read the codes again for that module, no faults. Okay. It's going to reread when you get back to this menu. Let's see what the instrument cluster has. This could be a voltage one. Even the headlights could have been a voltage issue. And the reason this had a low voltage is because it sat at Copart for a while and the battery drained out. This is probably, yep, history. Yep. Go back. Okay. I do like that it also marks which ones you've gone into in purple, so that you don't have to jump back in if you've already looked at it. See what's wrong in the BCM. Interesting. Probably voltage related. Let's erase them and see. We'll reread. Seat height, motor hall sensor. Okay, that's good to know. We'll have to look into that. All right, now you can also see there is a quick erase, so you can erase everything. And in cases where your voltage got low, this can be very useful. Then things that come back are things you want to look into. Other errors may only come back while you're driving, but yeah, it's good to know. Okay, I think we're done. Now let's go back, and we can go to control units here. Okay, one that's interesting, ride level control module. We have access to the suspension system. Air suspension is fitted. We could look at live data. Door status open. This is the ride height level indicators on the center console. Oh, it can even measure acceleration, interesting. And then the corner heights. Pressure in the system. So we have a lot of information here, that's good. Let's exit this. Into suspension and see if there's anything. Okay. Do suspension adaptation. Let's see here. Okay, so here we can go in suspension, we can go to deflation. Yeah, so you would be able to deflate the springs, deflate the air tank, and then deflate everything. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm actually, it's not supported and I don't want to damage anything, but this is very useful if you're working on the air suspension. You can get in here, deflate the air springs, and service your struts safely. So that's really nice to know. And if you're servicing the air tank, you can empty it from here as well. All right, that's cool. So these are more specific functions that may be applicable to certain vehicles, and it's for two-way communication. In the scan menu, we have more of a reading information. So in scan, you can select your specific vehicle, you can see the specific control modules, descriptions of the error codes, and then you can see live data. And then in these, if there's a relevant function that's a two-way function, you would have to find it in the different types here. So injector coding, ABS bleed, that's very convenient when you're servicing your brake system and stuff like that. So very cool. Automatic transmission adaptation, tire size change. I don't know if there's something in here for Land Rovers, but that's good to know. So this allows you to recalibrate your speedometer. Yeah, Land Rover does allow you to do that. Nice. That's really good to know. Very cool. And yeah, oil reset for the transmission. The more common one you'll probably want is oil reset for the engine. A very typical, useful thing to have. Now, since this is universal, let's go test it out in another brand. This is my 2005 GMC Yukon. So you go test it out in here. Got a port right here, easily accessed. The key in the ignition here. Oops. We'll go to scan here. Now we're gonna go to America. GM. Auto selection. There we go. All right. Got all the control units here. Yep, no diagnostic codes. The diagnostic display. Same thing as in the Range Rover. Now, so while we're here, let's check the other brands that are available. I'll click through a bunch. We got Chinese brands. We got European brands. Now that we've checked out what brands the scanner is compatible with, let me show you how to update it to the latest software. Alright, so to update the software, we're going to go to the udiagtech.com website, and in the top right go to download. Then you can download the tools updater right here. And once it's installed, you'll have a shortcut on your desktop. Once you've registered, you can log in with the account you created. Before we do any updates, we need to take the microSD card out of the A500 and connect it to the computer. Once you've registered the device using the serial number and the password that's included in the box, you can go to My Updates and you can see what's available. And it looks like we have updates for Mercedes-Benz, BMW Mini, Citroen, European Ford, Land Rover actually, interesting, and a bunch more. And all of these are 2025 updates, which is nice. So let's update them. And that's the software updated. With that done, we can eject the microSD card from the computer and put it back into the A500. Now it looks like after the first set of updates, there's still a few more, but I'll be doing those later. And that's the UDIAG A500. It's really convenient to have if you have multiple cars or work on a bunch of different things, since it's all self-contained and will cover a bunch of brands. It's also really convenient since you can do calibrations and see live data. Now, if you want to get one for yourself, I'll leave links in the video description, and I want to say a big thank you to UDIAG for sending this to me to check out. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments, and if you want to see more videos like this, or you want to watch me work on cheap European cars, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.